Greetings, Earthlings! My name is Zero Jake and welcome back to Space Engineers. So, a few days ago we had a live stream, kind of fun. Adam joined us and we did quite a lot of stuff. So first of all, we started constructing this kind of landing area over here so that we don't have to continuously land ships out in the open. Adam started work on his ship, which means that the hangar is not going to be usable because he's taking up the room. There's a cargo thing here that I can access everything from, which is pretty useful. If we go into here, we've got an airlock we've got pressurization is now available. Joy for pressurization. Now the reason why everything isn't pressurized is because apparently, even though the atmosphere the exterior atmosphere is currently not connected to anything in here, this stone apparently does not keep oxygen inside the facility, so I'm going to have to finish building over here in order to do things. We started constructing a azimuth fusion reactor to power the base because we are running low on power, but that proved way too expensive, so instead I just built a smaller one. That's doing fine for now. Yeah, 22 megawatts out of the 60 that it can provide. If we go up, I need to remember if I did anything up here. If I didn't, then this is going to be a jolly big waste of time. I've been working on extending this so that we can pressurize the facility. Yeah, nothing else happened here. Right, good. Glad we got that sorted. We've also got an antenna on the base. It's green instead of blue because Adam placed it, because that's what happens. If it's yours, it's blue. If it's being shared by someone else, it's green. We've also got a Gatling turret for no real reason. I don't think you can even access this inventory. No, you can't. Oh no, you can, yes. I didn't mean to do that. Anyway, so since we need a lot of welding to be done on the exterior of the base, and I'm not welding that by hand, we're going to be building a welding ship, as in a construction ship of some kind. And it's going to be involving this laser welder, which is pretty good. Now, the design that I'm thinking of, we want it to be able to stay afloat under any orientation, because the main thing that it needs to do is weld things. We might be able to pull it off, but that's a very big might. So first of all, let's clear out some inventory space so that we can get things underway. Any point in the near future, you can activate build mode. Thank you. First of all, we need maglocks. Because I love using them. They're the best thing in the universe. Right, let's get rid of all of you. So we want a maglock surface. We're going to be using the maglock surface instead of a regular maglock cube because, I'm thinking that this entire thing can happen in a 3x3 by 3 cube, which would be magnificent. Next we need the laser welder, the main thing that we're getting here. Well, there's also a laser grinder as well. We need some Atmo engines. We need a cockpit. Yes. And we need a gyro and a reactor. I believe that should be it. Yes. Okay, so we're going to need a bunch of steel. Oh yeah, of course, because all the steel died. We're also out of iron. Why do these things happen to me? Yeah, I want to get rid of this, please. No? Not going to allow me to get rid of that build order? Okay then. Interesting. That's not supposed to happen. Nevertheless. Right, let's do the thing. Come on. We've got limited amount of time to do this thing. So we want a maglock surface. Luckily, because we're using maglock surface, it will give us plenty of room. In fact, I'm I'm probably going to want to build it here. Right, so if we place it like this, it might auto-lock. Yes, that's useful. Let's weld this up in case I destroy it. Let's get some construction component as well. We're currently smelting some stuff. That's fine. Construction component. Excellent. So, first things first, we are going to add a reactor here. Now we're going to use the azimuth fusion reactor because we're using a laser welder, and that I believe is more power hungry than regular welders. So we're going to place one of these, weld that up a tiny bit. Next we're going to have the welder itself in all its glory. This will be the center, by the way. So we'll place that, weld it up a bit. We can then place the cockpit up here. As you can see, this is going to become quite the monstrosity. And then lastly, we just want the gyroscope on the back. Right, that's all of the components that we need, I believe. Reactor, gyroscope, yeah. And so now we can add thrusters. So I need to test this. Does this ship hover under 1 atmospheric thruster? Right, that's the thing that we need to work out. Before we do all of that, I want to weld everything up so that we can actually have power to that atmospheric thruster. So I'll be back in a second once that's all welded. Okay, we have our resources ready. Let's power this thing up. Right. That made a nice sound. So we were able to see, oh my god, the glass is dirty. Right. So we've got inertial dampeners enabled. Basically what we want to happen is we want to stay in the air. We stay in the air, that's good. So, with that, what we can do now, well, what we need to do now is sort out all the directions in which this thing needs to go, which might be a bit complicated since we don't have the room. Right, so first of all, we need the ability to go left and right. This is literally going to be a death ball, isn't it? Yes. That's going the same way, isn't it? That is going the same way. We want it this way. Yes. So that allows us to go left and right, and then we need the ability to go forwards and backwards. We can go... No, I've already done that. We don't need that. Right. Now we are going to have a slight problem of being able to do all of them, because we can do forwards and backwards here, but then we also need up and down, and that's usually reserved for this axis, but we can't because there's things there. I think I've got a solution. Yeah, I've got a solution. So what we want to do is we want to break this, and then we want to have this one going this way. Weld that up a bit. And then we want this one, which is the same thing, isn't it? No, we want it the other way. We want that one that way. So we've got a forward thruster and a backwards thruster. If we used hydrogen, that might be good, but that means that we'd run out of fuel mid-flight, and that's never a good thing. And then we just need an up and down. Sadly, we can't have it in a 3x3, which would have been nice. Yeah, that would have been a good idea. Never mind. And then I just want an atmospheric thruster here for now. We'll move this ship out of the way from the wall when we need to. So I'm going to weld all this up, which is going to take me a few minutes at most. And we'll be back in a second to test it. Okay, so because I forgot about thrust to mass ratios, this thing no longer flies. Like we can go in, we can unlock, we can attempt to go up, but to no avail at all, which is kind of bad. Give me a second. Actually, I'll get a external camera view on it. Let's just wait a second for this thing to load stuff. But yeah, if we lock our camera position, yeah, you could see that the thruster is lighting up, but alas, no actual movement, which is brilliant. Actually, no, that may be because the maglock surface is auto-locking. Let's turn it off. Yep, no movement whatsoever, which is a shame. So I guess the alternative is that we build a small ship rather than a large ship, which is going to be annoying. So I'm going to tear this down and we'll start from scratch. Okay, so that's all gone. Now time to rebuild everything we just destroyed. Right, so we're going to be using maglock surface again. That didn't work as well as I hoped it would, but oh well. Perhaps you'll lock to surface, maybe. If I put something I can collide into. Nope, you're not locking to surface. Okay, that's going to be quite annoying. Well, let's throw the reactor on there first, since that's going to be the thing that's disposable. We're going to have to go for a larger one, alas. We're going to need to go for this one, which I do believe only has one access point. So if we have the access point facing this way, yeah, if we have it this way, we can have gyroscopes on the outside. So we just need metal grid, bunch of stuff. Okay, bunch of stuff. Get me this, get me this, get me this. Large steel, motors, computers. Right. Computers, some large steel, and some motors. Because once we weld this up, we should be able to lock the landing gear due to having access to everything. Though first of all, we need a fuel reactor. Really? Okay, fine. 228U. Stick it in here. Good. Right, that's now active. Go to maglock surface. Is it locked? Lock. Unless you don't want to lock. Interesting. Well, if that maglock surface doesn't lock, then we'll deal with that later. Anyway, so we can place gyroscopes on the reactor. So that saves us the ability, so it sticks in a 3x3 area. Lovely, lovely thing. So we just need a bunch, I've already got, I need more steel. Yes. Cargo, give me steel. Noting that we've got steel here already, but it's things that I do. We need a bunch of motors, bunch of computers, a bunch of steel plate. No, bunch of motors, so let's say 20. Bunch of computers, which we've got, and then a bunch of large steel tube, which we've got. 1, 2, 3. Everything's got to be the right way round, otherwise I go a bit insane. So 6 gyroscopes should be enough to move this thing around. If it's not, then I've done something terribly wrong, or I've forgotten how many gyroscopes I actually need on a small ship. These gyroscopes take a while to weld. Right, with that done, next thing that we need to do is place this on here. Now, what we could do, you don't have any access to that. You don't have any small access ports. Okay, if we go and get a cargo, if we get a medium cargo container, which is a 3x3, we can have that there, which means we could technically fit 2 reactors if we need it. Alternatively, we might fit another cargo container. So, okay, right. Let's get the interior plate. We'll do the design first, and then we'll sort out how I want to actually put it together. Alternatively, we don't. And we have the reactor on the bottom, and then we have the cargo container, and then we have, and this might tip over, and then we have the welder, right, which is connected to be at the back. Welder, cargo container, because we need the cargo container, unless we don't. I want to be able to access here at all times, because if we can't, then I can't actually get anything in there. Now, we could have a conveyor line go in, but that means that if we run out of power, then that's just going to be brilliant, isn't it? So I want this accessible at all times. How much power do you give? You give 59 megawatts. So this reactor here gives 1 less megawatt than this reactor here, and it's smaller. Interesting. Right, so we have this, we have this. We then have this, which has a large connection on the bottom. This one doesn't, so that's going to be a shame, but oh well. If we place that there. And then we're going to need a we're going to need connector on the back. Possibly. Yeah, we'll probably go one connector here, so that we can get in and out of the situation. So if that's the case, then now we need atlas thrusters, which I have already here. Now we could use these, or we could use these, which are massive, right? We might not need to use these. Right, so let's weld this up, right? Just thinking aloud here. And then we'll do thruster layouts. Okay, so I've been experimenting a bit with how we could place thrusters, and sadly, we can't use the large atmospheric thrusters. One of them does not give enough thrust to lift us, which I guess some of you may have realized already, but quiet. So instead, we're going to be using these, the heli thrusters. Most notably because I realized that they consume 3 times the amount of power. Just for comparison, each one, and this may be a bad thing, consumes 6 megawatts, right? So we could power 10 of them. We won't need 10 of them, but we can power that amount. I want to see, just for reference, the laser welder's requirement. Max input power, 1.1. Pretty good, right? Well, we can increase the speed multiplier and the block length in order to get it so that we can weld more. 27 blocks is what? 5-ish? 5 large blocks, I guess. 5.4, yeah. Anyway, so we're going to need to weld these. Oh, hang on, no, we can't use those. Those require thruster components. Back at square one, I guess. So, we have a few options. Option number 1, we screw making a small design and instead make a flying thing. Option 2, we add it as a rotored turret thing onto the mining ship, which could be good but probably won't be. Or option 3 is we use hydrogen. And that's going to make people yell across the cosmos because that's just going to kill me. So, the way we're going to do hydrogen. Okay, so what we can do is we can move all of this along here, then have a hydrogen tank down here, which might work. May as well give it a try. So hydrogen tank, if we place that there, except it's a 5x5. Oh. Yeah, this is not going to become a very easy to build thing. Okay, so let's do some comparisons. A regular atmospheric thruster versus a smaller version. Because I need to do some mathematics on this. We've got 2.4 for large thruster and 700 for the smaller one. Now, if we have thrust, okay, so if we put thrust override, this will give us 360 kilonewtons, whereas this will give us 70, right? We can have more atmospheric thrusters than the large atmospheric thrusters because there's more space. It would consume more power, but I don't give a damn. So technically we could do this by having a ton of smaller atmospheric thrusters instead of a bunch of large ones, which doesn't make any sense at all. None. Because we could place these all the way across here, right? Now, what we want to do... is we want to have this in such a way that we have 4 of each, 8 of each thruster going in each direction, right? So if we have this, and then here we swap out for the other 4, and then here we're going this way, and then we copy the same design on the other side, which will give us 8 thrusters in total in each direction. So it'll be up, down, forward, backward, and then we can do left, right on the top and bottom, which is pretty good. Now, in comparison, so if that's 3, 6, so I've got 8. Give me a second, I need a calculator. Mental maths is not my strong suit, as you may have already guessed. But this might solve our problems. Unless I've made a terrible miscalculation in everything, which is, as we all know, highly likely. So, if we have access inventory, each one can have a maximum thrust of 70. So 70 kilonewtons times by 8 will give us 560 kilonewtons in each direction, if we have 8. We can easily increase that number, pretty easily, in fact. So there's no problem in how much we can replicate this. In fact, it is going to be in a 3x3 area, which is very, very nice. Problem is, we can actually calculate. We've got kilonewtons, so that's 560,000 newtons. So if we have 560,000, we divide that by our current mass, which is 34.500. No. 35,000. That might be a good idea. Yes. That gives us a total of 16 kilonewtons per kilogram, which is 16 newtons per kilogram. I think that's what we're going for. Yeah, that's definitely enough to counteract the forces of gravity. That is, unless this isn't counting the weight of everything because the components aren't welded. Well, there's only one way to find out. Right, so let's put this in It takes a freaking ages to weld all these up. Anyway, so we have everything that we need. Ah. Latency, please don't kill me. Right, so we have 8 thrusters in each direction. I have foretold that it should be enough. Hey everybody, we're flying. Lovely. Now let's address this underlying problem of that. Because that maglock surface wasn't working for me. Just couldn't do its job. So instead we're going to replace it with maglock cubes that start here. A bunch of maglock cubes here, and then they're going to deal with everything. I'll make proper landing gear segments once we've actually got things sorted. A bunch of you. But I want to be able to park. I don't know why those two are blue, probably because they've got auto lock engaged. And the other one doesn't, for some reason. Right, let's throw thrusters into... into here, so that we can actually see things now. Same with gyros. Right, mag locks. Save off in terminal, mag locks, auto lock off, just to double check that all of them, yep, good. Let's rename that to regular. Connector, cockpit, fusion reactor, pretty good. So we can hold for about 7 hours, which is quite nice. Right, let's get, why do we have 2 laser welders? That's a very good point. Right, so let's do the toggle block on and off. Currently it's off. Oh, yes. Apparently, we don't have enough power. Or at least not at that range. My god. Yeah, let's set speed down to 1, shall we? Yeah, that's a pretty nice thing. So we still need more thrusters. Why do we need more thrusters? Because we need to. And adding thrusters for the sides won't kill us, he says, hopingly. Well, hoping that I'm not wrong. Right, so I'm just going to add a couple more thrusters, and we'll do a test drive. Okay, so we have left, right, forwards, backwards, up, down. Noting that we should be able to rotate, hang on. First of all, this might be a good idea. Second of all, we need to way reduce the power of this, because I don't want to fly off into the middle of nowhere. Right, so this looks ridiculous. I'm definitely going to add tiered atmospheric thrusters. Hey lag, why don't you not kill me this time? Might be very, very nice of you. Now it is dark, which is wonderful. We also don't have that much fuel, so it's not that good. But essentially what I want this to do is basically, no matter how I rotate, I want to keep my altitude, right? That's the plan. And since we've got an equal amount of thrusters in all directions, I can do that. It's as if we're in space, except we're not. If we were in space, then I wouldn't have to worry about, oh, this thing is slow. Anyway, so now we're here, and now this is going to be the fun bit. We're now going to use the welder, which will start welding as soon as it feels ready. Now, we could increase the speed, but then again, we do run the risk of dying because we go too fast. So what we're going to do is we're going to orient this way so that the maglocks will activate. Actually, yeah, we want to activate maglocks first. We want to actually be able to see the maglocks, right? Park, good. Now we're going to do some optimization. We're just basically finding out how fast we can make this thing before, you know, all hell breaks loose. Right. That uses 77%. We cannot move in 3 directions in order to do that. Or rather, we can't move in 3 directions in order to keep it that way. So we could reduce it to 1.75. I think that would be a good idea. Except for the fact that the game doesn't seem to see the difference. Can I go 1.5? It's possible that they only have incrementations. So if we set that to 2, and we set this to 25 instead, how about we do this properly, shall we? If we do this and do that, yeah, fine. We may have to get a bit closer to the target than we want to. If we want to activate long range, then we can, but that should allow us to fly and weld at a decent pace. Right? This is much faster than hand welding, by the way. Much faster. Especially since I can weld up groups of blocks at a time. Now, notice that it does chew through steel plate like no tomorrow, but what doesn't? Steel plate is the thing that we're always not going to have enough of. Excellent, right, we now have a welding ship. Hooray! I really need to install the tiered thruster mod. The tiered atmospheric thruster and hydrogen thruster mod, because then all will be good. Right, so I need a place to park this, and since Adam is currently working in there, noting that we're going to kind of want a building area out here for larger ships, because his ship is definitely going to be larger than the rover. So for now, I'll just pop us on top here, hoping that the Gatling gun doesn't accidentally corrupt its thing. Right, yeah, we need to not collide with the ground at ridiculous speeds. We'll also turn it off, because we want to be environmental about it. That's good. Right, we now have a welder, which means I can now do this job, or rather, I now can't complain about not doing this job, because now I've got something that does it like 8 times as fast. So, next thing, well, things that are still on the list to do. We need this landing pad done, which is basically going to be a lot of busy work. Ooh boy. We've also got to, what else do we need? I can't remember. Yes, I do. I remember now. We need sorting system. Sorting of the system variety. So we'll get on that in the next episode. But until then, my name has been Zero Jake. End transmission.